This is Kullervo, one of the best, if not the best, melee focused frame in the entire game. Now, whether they're the best or not depends solely on who you ask, but I will argue that they are 100% the best melee warframe that doesn't have an exalted weapon. Kullervo focuses basically solely on boosting your normal melee weapon, meanwhile, a lot of other melee frames such as Valkyr and Umbra have their exalted weapon. Now, Kullervo was the very first warframe that introduced the player to self-Overguard. We've seen it on enemies, Kullervo was the first one to bring it to the mainstream for players. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about what players like about him. The very first thing I'm going to focus on is just the obvious melee. His passive is basically two melee mods just kind of crammed into one. It increases his heavy attack efficiency by 75% and his heavy attack wind-up speed by 100% on all melee weapons, not a specific type, just all of them, flat. He can essentially turn any melee weapon pretty viable with Wrathful Advanced as well. Using this, it's a teleport ability. Tapping it, you can teleport to an enemy and strike immediately. This also gives you a flat increase to your critical chance for your melee weapon. If you teleport, you can quite literally just teleport anywhere. It's one of the best mobility abilities in the entire game, and for a melee focused frame, this is usually pretty important. I've seen this on Umbras out the wazoo. Collective Curse here is also incredibly important for his melee damage. This one has a curse that binds enemies together essentially. When they're cursed, whenever a cursed enemy takes damage from you, every other cursed enemy suffers a portion of that damage, and that damage is true damage. It's not nerfed by health or armor or anything like that, it's just true damage, which makes nuking incredibly easy. After that is the Storm of Ukko. This one just sends a rain of storm of daggers down on the enemies, which deals incredible amounts of slash damage. Slash damage, of course, ignores shields and armor, and goes straight after health. This is usually his most subsumed ability, not because it's bad, just because it's the least important of his kit. A usual Kullervo gameplay will go something along the lines of keeping his 2 always active, activating his 3, and then using Wrathful Advance on an enemy to deal an incredible amount of damage to all the enemies nearby. And the best part about Kullervo's third ability, which is what allows it to nuke so well, is it has full follow through. So follow through is this funky little stat that not a lot of people actually know about, and it modifies the amount of damage dealt in a single strike each time an additional enemy is hit after the first. As you can see, my Code of Mire has 60%. So essentially, the first hit an enemy takes will take full damage. Every subsequent one on that single arc will take 60%. So let's say you do 1000 damage melee with a 60% follow through. The first enemy will take that 1000. The second one that is in that line will take only 600. The third will take 360, etc., etc. So it just keeps going down by 60% each enemy that is hit in your single arc. Kullervo does not have that problem. Because of his abilities, he just straight up nukes, which is what makes his third ability so damn popular. Naturally, there are melees out there that can get 100% follow through, such as the Nami solo, but it's usually not built around. At least not that I've noticed, I could be wrong on that. Now, next after melee is simply recompense. This is Overguard. This means you do not have to build up for survival at all, essentially. Just keep this activated, maybe add on volatile recompense to deal some damage, and without having to focus on using it too much. For example, if you have on volatile recompense and all that, all you have to do is activate your second ability, walk into some enemies, and you'll start gaining Overguard just by walking near them. And having a way to gain infinite Overguard is naturally very important. Overguard is one of the best forms of survivability, and I'd say it's probably the most used because it requires the least amount of effort to actually use. So this way of getting Overguard makes him incredibly tanky, and then you can pair this to make him even tankier with a neat little arcane known as Arcane Persistence, which removes all shields, which is not a big deal for him. Just, keep your Overguard up. If your armor is above 700, you cannot be hit for more than 500 damage per second. And of course though, magnetic status and ability nullifying effects disable the protection, which is kind of sad, but not a deal breaker. My build is not the best, but you can comfortably go through Steel Path with this. You can even comfortably go into an Archimedia. I have not gone into an Elite Archimedia with him yet, but if I was going to do that, I'd like to have on Equilibrium or maybe some Archon shards so I don't get ass blasted immediately, you know? So, with his abilities out of the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about the community likes that I've noticed. I've gone through Region Chat, I've gone through the Warframe Forums and Reddit, and I've compiled the most used reasons that I've noticed. One of them is the teleport. As I mentioned, one of the best forms of mobility, just hold down teleport. When you see the blue line, you can immediately unhold it, and then you'll teleport to wherever you're aiming at. Having an ability that allows you to teleport is incredibly useful because it allows you to get out of a situation with ease. If you'd like, you can inverse the hold and tap portion, and then you can teleport with a tap and then use Wrathful Advance's attack with a hold. Honestly, I don't know why you do that for him, but if you prefer to use the teleport more fluidly, you could possibly do that. Next is that he's simple but powerful. As already mentioned, his usual gameplay is extraordinarily simple. All you have to do, one more time, tap 2 for Overguard, 3 to connect enemies, 1 to deal a nice heavy attack that will pretty much destroy all the enemies in your area. Of course, you'll do more damage the higher your melee combo counter is, so it is important that you build that up, but it's not hard to do. Next is simply that he's a great solo frame, and comparatively, he is also an excellent Steel Path frame. He doesn't depend on teammates for anything. His survivability is unto himself. He doesn't need any buffs, and he performs well in nearly every mission type. I don't think I've known a mission type that he doesn't work well in. So he has his own damage, survivability, healing, mobility, and the very last thing that I've noticed is his cool design. A lot of people like the knives and the body look and the dark Deviri theme, all that good stuff. He has a kind of cursed executioner theme going on, and I vibe with it as well. I do think it is immaculate, but with that being said, that's just about it. The main thing people would like about him is that he's simple, effective, powerful. He doesn't need a lot of bells and whistles to go. You kind of just have to slap on a few mods and he can make any melee weapon get red crits almost effortlessly. All you really need to do is build him up for strength, a little bit of duration, and range. Efficiency can be completely thrown away so long as you get equilibrium on and high energy. Of course, that's if you plan on just going full in on strength. There's a lot of other things you could do with Kullervo, but high strength is usually the main goal. But with that being said, that is just about it. Tell me, what do you think about Kullervo? Whether you love him, hate him, indifferent to him. Like I said, I think he is hands down the best melee Warframe that doesn't have an Exalted. And even then, against melee Warframes that have Exalted, I believe it is debatable. But with that said, until next time.